Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome to our weekly Top 5 Friday ski industry news videos. Just me today, just a solo Top 5 video. Hopefully it's not too boring. Before we get into the news, just a couple things that I want to mention. First is we just ended our Vocal Ski Happy photo contest. Bob and I actually had to count the comments on the Instagram page or the Instagram post. I think we recounted them 3 times. So it did a total of 4 counts to determine the winner. We did determine the winning photo by 1 vote. So it's easily the closest Ski Happy contest we've ever had. I will be contacting the winners right after this video goes up. And we are going to try and get that second place by 1 vote photo, a little extra something. Because I was real close to being a tie, and then I don't know what we would have done. I guess like each person gets a single ski. We wouldn't actually do that, but it would be pretty funny. The other thing I wanted to mention is we are hiring a few positions, notably the one that I want to mention here is that we are hiring a social media coordinator and video editor position. Basically, that person would work really closely to Bob and myself. You do need to be local to the northern Vermont area, able to ski stow, able to come to this building, stuff like that. I don't have a link to the job description just yet, but when I do, I will do a separate post on YouTube, one of the like community style posts, and leave a link to that because maybe some of you would be interested. And yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool if we found someone through YouTube. So with that, I think we can get right into the news. We're going to do FIS Alpine Racing Recap to start, as we often do. A lot of skiers took these most recent races off and will continue to do so as they prep for the Olympics. But the women were in Austria for downhill and Super G. Keely Cashman picked up a 23rd in Super G, which most importantly gave her the 3rd spot on the U.S. women's Super G team for the Olympics. So that's awesome. The men were in Wengen for 2 downhill races, a Super G and a slalom race. Pretty good results on the speed side of things for the men, as has been happening this season and really last season too. Bryce Bennett picked up 7th in the first downhill. Ryan Cochran-Siegel was 8th, and then Travis Ganong was in 20th. In the second downhill, Ryan Cochran-Siegel was 15th, Bryce Bennett 21st, and then Travis Ganong picked up a 19th in Super G, with Steven Nyman 28th in Super G. So nice to see all the men getting into finals, getting good finishes, and building up some FIS points. It's been a really exciting season, and I think things are really getting dramatic and ramping up as we approach the Olympics, which is exciting. Second topic of the week, we have more details on the agreement between Vail Resorts and the Park City Ski Patrol Union. They were seeking a $17 per hour starting wage with a $1 increase for each of your first 3 seasons. The agreement that has been made is a $15 an hour starting wage with that same $1 increase for the first 3 seasons, and a $16 starting wage if you'll work both Park City and Canyons. So I think it would have been great if they got the $17 an hour that they were shooting for, but really nice to get kind of some closure to this and get some details on what the actual agreement was. I still kind of think that ski patrollers should make more than that. It just seems like a skilled position. Like, you got to be really good at skiing, and then you have to be really good at first aid and emergency medicine, and then you also have to be really good at kind of managing a very challenging situation, a traumatic situation for somebody. So yeah, as somebody, and I think I've mentioned this before, as somebody who has been sledded down a few more times than I would like, and I've really had ski patrol help me in some of the worst situations of my life. And just thinking about those situations, yeah, I feel like those people should make more than $15 or $17 an hour. But I don't decide those kind of things. So it is what it is. Third topic of the week, we got kind of two pieces of news surrounding Vail Resorts. The first is the state of Vermont has issued a cease and desist order to Vail Resorts over Mount Snow EB5 program. This one's kind of confusing. I'll admit that I really had to read this a few times, kind of wrap my mind around it. Basically what happened here, and I wouldn't say that Vail, doesn't feel like Vail's doing anything wrong here. And as a general prerequisite to any Vail Resorts conversation, I think it's easy to point fingers at them as an organization, but I would say that you can point fingers at them in positive ways too. So although it comes up in the news, we don't think poorly of Vail Resorts overall as an organization. Sure, there are some things that they could probably do better, but I do think there are some things that they do really well too. So just thought I would put that out there. Anyways, back in the mid-2000s, Vermont ski resorts tapped into an EB5 investment program, which essentially brought in foreign investors who were given temporary U.S. citizenship, essentially, in exchange for their investment. So it allowed them to basically buy their way into the country. Now, fast forward to this year, or recently, and Vail has begun refunding those investors, which cancels their involvement in the program and essentially kind of kicks them out of the country. Another issue, and again, like Vail doesn't have control of this, is this program hasn't been renewed by the state of Vermont. There have been other issues with it too, if you guys all know about the Jay Peak story. So basically these investors, if they're getting refunded by Vail Resorts, they don't have another project that they can invest in, so they're kind of out of luck. And I should add that this initial investment was long before Vail bought the property, so they kind of had nothing to do with the initial round of investments. It is interesting because we couldn't really pinpoint a big reason why they're doing so. They're not paying anything out to these investors. It is really interesting, but essentially the state of Vermont has issued this cease and desist order, and Vail will be fined $15,000 for every infringement moving forward. Another topic that we thought we would mention is probably a lot of you have heard about the petition that's going on surrounding Stevens Pass and how the resort is being run. The Washington Attorney General has asked people via Twitter to submit formal complaints to his office over Stevens Pass, which I thought was a noticeable kind of bump up in the seriousness of the issue out there, or at least how it's being handled. So that's really going to be one to watch. Yeah, hopefully all the issues that are happening in skiing this year are resolved. I will say that overall I've had a pretty darn good ski season. I've had certainly some busy days at resorts that have been somewhat understaffed and pretty crowded, but for the most part I so far have had a fantastic ski season, and I hope you guys have too. Certainly let us know in the comments if you've got any stories that you want to let others know, that you want to let us know. Maybe you've had some great experiences. Maybe you've had some less than ideal experiences. Definitely let us know. Fourth topic of the week, probably a pretty quick one here. Black Mountain in New Hampshire is pleading with their uphill guests to stop poaching the mountain. So Black Mountain in New Hampshire sells a $10 day pass for uphill access to their resort. What's been happening is people have been parking in auxiliary lots, parking at other businesses, even parking in like some people's residential homes, and skirting that $10 uphill pass and basically just poaching the resort. So Black Mountain is basically threatening to end uphill access if people don't start obeying their policy, which I think is very reasonable. And I think you have to respect that if a business in general, if they put something out, if they put a price on their product, you have to respect that. Even if you don't agree with it, you don't own the business. So I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of a disconnect there. But kind of something that we thought was interesting surrounding this issue is there's no kind of set standard on the value of uphill access right now. So if you look at other resorts around the country, there's a range of prices from $0 to $25 a day for day access, and then there's a similar range of $0 to $320 a year for a season pass for uphill access. So I think what we're going to see as this kind of section of the sport continues to grow is we'll see a little bit more uniform pricing or uniform value on uphill access. Because right now it's still kind of a new thing, and I think skiers and consumers don't really know how to value it. Resorts don't know how to value it. So we thought the Black Mountain story was interesting, but I think the bigger topic here is just how do you value uphill access and what that will be going forward. And then lastly, we have our edits of the week, as we often do, or always do, I should say. First, we have an extended, almost 10-minute trailer for a PBS documentary about Montana free skiers that looks awesome. I mean, even just the trailer here was awesome. And then second, we have Up North from Colby Stevenson. If you guys watch Top 5 Fridays, you probably know that I'm a pretty big fan of Colby Stevenson skiing. I thought this was really cool because typically you're seeing Colby Stevenson either in a slopestyle course or hitting backcountry jumps, doing something that revolves a trick in the air or on a rail or something. Most of the footage in this is just some awesome big mountain footage. So yeah, kudos to Colby Stevenson for being a very well-rounded skier. And then the last edit of the week is Cody LaPlante's crash from Mammoth Grand Prix. Gosh, if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. It's one of the craziest crashes that I've ever seen on snow. Could have been way, 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 way worse. So yeah, big props to Cody LaPlante for just being a cat in the air and getting out of that one without major injury. So yeah, definitely take a look at that. And that's it for Top 5 Fridays. I hope everyone's able to get out on snow this weekend. I'll be out there coaching the Green Mountain Academy crew tomorrow, as usual. If you're at Stowe and you see a guy dressed in all black, standing with some teenagers, yell or wave or something, and it's probably me. So yeah, hope you guys get out and ski this weekend, and we'll see you guys out there on the hill.